it reduces our cost of energy. Transmission line losses. We lose energy when we transmit long distance. And this is one reason why being right there saves us energy. Continuous operation through typhoons. We're working. We're going to try to run the hospital and San Victoria's area and other areas through a storm. I think we will be able to do that in the very near future. We're doing a lot of hybrid for other customers where we're doing from their secondary lines to the homes. Putting those systems in, that will help us also in the future to be able to supply energy to a storm to most customers. We're going to use about 3 million gallons a day. That's almost 1 million gallons a year of sewer water, and treat that so that we're not taking water from the aquifer and to produce energy. So again, that's a sustainability issue that would help with using this power plant at the location that we're talking about. This is quite important because we all hear about climate change. I don't know what's going to happen over the next 20, 30, 40, 50 years with climate change. However, the location where it's at now takes it away from us being prone to climate change, because all our base load units are down in low level elevation. So if anything changes, at least we can still provide energy to the island of Guam. It does not impact the aquifer. As a lot of the glory of the Christmas show today, really, we're not over the aquifer, and the flow will be outside, away from the out to sea instead of into the aquifer, so that the contamination will occur. Running out of breath, so I better hurry up. What will be built here? Again, we're building a reliable, quiet, efficient. A new power plant is going to burn more costlier fuel, ultra low sulfur diesel. Remember, we're burning dirty fuel because it's cheaper. We're going to offset that by bringing in a more efficient machine that uses less of this. So initially, we're going to cut down our consumption by about 500,000 barrels of oil a year with the new machine to offset some of that cost. In the long run, when we do get natural gas, we're going to eliminate about 2 million barrels a year of oil that we're burning on this island. And why is that important? That's a lot of money that we're just, we bring in money to the economy, and we just let it flow out, paying for the oil. So the less we do that, it means more money stays in the economy, the more it multiplies. As clean emissions approved by US EPA, and believe me, they're not going to let us do anything unless we can meet not only air, water, but also water and safety requirements. Allows for fuel diversity, fuel oil, and natural gas. Works well with renewables. These are illustrative of machines that are built in other areas. This is a typical machine built out probably outside in more remote areas. There's one around commercial areas, and they really enclose the whole machine. So you really can aesthetically build these machines where you really couldn't really see that it was a power plant in the area. Where's the location? Here's the Harmon substation right here. Oh, right here? Yep. Sorry, I'm having a hard time. This is the area right behind. What is the added thing about this? Reliability. This is the short run for transmission. Just a little bit more transmission. Why did Puerto Rico take so long to get energy to all these people? Because all your transmission lines went down. Here we have it straight from the power plant right into the transmission and distribution system. Very important aspect. We have a major storm that takes down the other 15 that goes across the mountains and up to Sinahanya and there. We're going to have to fix that before we can even get energy to anybody else. What will the plan look like? Here's a rendition of what our our Stanley Consulting Engineers put together. It could be similar to this. The one thing that we are making sure in the bid specs is want it to be really aesthetically constructed. We want the reason why we're we're working in the larger property area, so we can have buffer zones around the property, so that really we want to be there without you knowing that we're there. So again, that's one of our key emphasis and focus. There's a substation, there's a power plant coming in. And I think that's the message for me now to turn it over to Felix. And he will explain the intricacies of the property, the location, and all of that. But again, we need the power plant. We have to build one. And I think the power plant that we have put together will be compatible with the area that we're trying to build it in. So, yeah, thank you. Felix?
Thank you, John. So I know we have questions, but let me just make this short presentation. John showed us on a map where the property is. This is the 60-acre parcel that is proposed to be the location of this power plant. It's directly behind the GPA substation, which is right across Micronesian Mall. It's about 750 feet from Medical City Hospital. You're right here. It's over 3,000 feet from Okudo High School. It's over 2,000 feet from the Northern Treatment Wastewater Plant. And it's about 700 feet from the intersection to the entrance at Two Lovers Point. So this is the location that we're talking about. Over here, we have these graphics that you can walk around and look at when we're done. As you can see, this is a map with radius lines around it. We sent letters to about 30 of you. There's about 30 landowners within 1,000-foot radius. So again, this is a proactive outreach program. This is not a legal requirement. This is part of GPA's attempt to let the neighbors know what's going on in the neighborhood. So this is the site, and we have you who are here, or adjacent property owners. This is the site, and this is where most of you are. The property behind it, this area is most behind. This is the property. Behind it is M1 zone. This is all the way M1 to. Okay. This part of the property is M1. It's commercial M1. The plant is in the front, and there's a portion of R2 and commercial on this side. So again, you're welcome to come up and look at these maps, but in response to just what exactly is around me and what is my neighbor zoning, we have the zoning map here. Again, this presentation is partly in response to a bill to rezone this property to industrial zone. Just be aware that behind it is industrial already, commercial, industrial, and residential too. Most of the other graphics that we have, there was some concern maybe in the initial discussion about earthquake fault lines. Arlen does have some earthquake fault lines, but none of them are in the area of the property in question. These are some of the fault lines that have been identified by geology reference maps. And also, we just want to mention, this is another graphic here. The general manager mentioned about underground transmission lines. All these yellow lines are utility easement lines. This is the property. So there's easements all over the place that can hook up to this area. It's very, very central. That takes you to where we are, or where the project is proposed to be. And I'm just gonna do a quick walk over here, excuse me. We have views, these are for illustrative purposes, just so that you can get an idea of what it may look like, what the neighborhood may look like. This is an aerial view from the Medical City Hospital, maybe about the 5th floor. You can see there's a power plant that Medical City has. This is right here. This is the easement that goes behind it and connects to Two Levels Point. So this is what you will see. Again, this is just for illustrative purposes. Ensure that we wall the landscape. But this is what, it's about 750 feet away. This is the street view from Micronesia Mall. You'll be standing on Marine Drive. You're not going to see, this is the plant over here. So here on Marine Drive, you won't even notice that the plant is 750 feet in. This is another aerial view from the mall. Oh, that's from the Medical City. Okay, this is the aerial view from the mall. You're looking down on top of the existing plant, and this is the location of the proposed plant. So about 750 feet away, there's this 100-foot right-of-way in between. Those of you that are property owners know about this right-of-way that connects Route 3 to the road that takes you to Two Levels Point and Kennedy Center. This is another view of the plant, of the proposed plant, coming from the entrance to Two Levels Point. As you can see, it's barely discernible. In fact, we have to put red dots around it. So this is a ground level view. Again, these are just images that kind of help you picture what is intended to be there. And this is a view from Okudu High School. Like if you're standing on the front door of Okudu High School looking straight down, you won't even see the power plant. It's over 3,000 feet away. These are two, we just put structures in front of them, 1-story, 2-story structures. It's over 3,000 feet away, so from Okudu High School, you have to be looking for it. And then we just put a little graphic together. This would be a view from the airport, for example, at Papa's Restaurant. If you were to look down towards Okudu, this is where the power plant would be. So again, it's not an obtrusive structure. You almost have to be looking for it if you're from common benchmark locations, Two Levels Point entrance, Medical City Hospital, Okudu High School, Micronesia Mall. Like the general manager said, they want to be there without you knowing that they're there. That's generally the guidelines for the planners and designers. That should clarify or give you some more information on where the location of the proposed power plant would be. Again, it's directly behind the existing Guam this GPA Harmon substation. So that will conclude my presentation on the location. So now we'll open it up for Q&As. Questions? And Art will be taking down notes. You read them up. Sir, if you could also reference your name and your lot number.
Oh, geez, I have no idea what my lot number is.
GRC.
He knows what it is.
Oh.
Stand out there.
Hi everyone, my name is Eric Klinsky from Guam Regional Medical City Hospital. I'd like to know, I admit I don't know a whole lot about power generation. It sounds like this is electric power generation. We're not talking about nuclear, but is that correct? This is all going to be electric power using natural gas? What I'd like to ask is, what do you folks at GPA feel are the biggest risks for our community? Particularly us surrounding that area. There are risks. What are they? What are the biggest risks that we face? Electromagnetic fields, carbon dioxide emissions. What what are the ones that are going to be, because we know there's not all good coming from a power plant, but we want to hear from you, what are the risks?
Hello, sorry. Yes, I can agree that it's not all good coming from a power plant, but of course we all need the energy, and that's why we have power plants. Secondly, we have the US EPA and all of this environmental agency is that we have to go to get a power plant permitted. So, case in point, the ultra low sulfur diesel, we're burning heavy oil, which actually has high sulfur fuel, low sulfur fuel, but higher sulfur fuel, which has more of an impact on the community than ultra low sulfur diesel, which is the newest and most cleanest fuel that is approved by US EPA. We're going to be burning that. That's going to be rising, and it's just going out to sea, all the other areas, dissipating and all of that. So, in terms of, we're going to have a simple technology. It doesn't explode like what we've had with Cavers 3 and 4. Much more simple. So, in terms of risk, we really, the type of power plant and the technology we're putting in minimizes the risk that we've been living with for the past 40, 50, actually almost 60 years, way back into when the Navy came. We have, of course, storage of fuel, like anybody has storage of fuel. But again, those would have to be constructed with berms, concrete berms and everything to contain any rupture, if at all, of the storage tanks or anything like that. The pipelines are constructed, again, to be able to get the fuel without leaks. Underground pipelines today are being very expensive to put in to make sure that all of these are mitigated. So really, in terms of the risk, there's always some risk, right? Wherever we go. But in terms of this power plant, compared to other power plants, the risks really have been minimized tremendously. And that's why we believe it would be a good neighbor in this area. I don't think I answered your question, but I can give you.
I want to point something out. Right here on your map, you're showing a fifth floor viewpoint from our hospital. And with our own power plant here, this is our employee parking lot. This is our land, this is where our second hospital tower goes, right here.
Mm-hmm.
We're like a stone's throw away from this thing at that point. This is the current, but the second, the expansion goes that way right into the power plant where our property, right out past our employee parking lot. So being unnoticeable, that'll be totally noticeable. It's another tower that would be right next to the power plant. And then if there is a problem, we're like right at ground zero for any type of risk with very ill patients. That's why we're very worried about that.
Yeah, and understandable. But again, you yourself have a power plant there, right?
We do, yes.
Yes.
It's a generator.
Our power, this is the same thing. We have a power plant that burns fuel that generates power. That's the same thing we're going to have there. It's going to burn actually the same fuel that you're burning on your station there. And again, the emissions is going to be, the reason why we have stacked heights going up to say about 100 feet is for the best, for the gas to be able to rise and disperse. And this is where, as you know, we go higher, the wind speeds are higher, it takes it off the island, no? So again, you're not going to see this, case in point, Machensi substation. We have a plant there that burns the same fuel, it's almost the same technology. Dededo CT 1 and 2, right in the middle of close to the community of village, Dededo. That's been there for 20 years. So these plants are not unusual to be in places. It burns clean fuel and make sure that we protect the storage facilities so that there's no spill, and if there is, one is contained within the berth so that we can clean it up and take care of it. So again, it's not unusual to see this plant in many places. Even the one I showed you earlier was commercial and all that. So what you will do you provide GMRC with